Kitchen. I'm Chef Victoria Love, and today we're going to make Coronation Quiche in honor of King Charles's coronation on May 6th. This fabulous quiche recipe comes from the royal website, and inside of it we're going to use fava beans. So I'm so excited. This is our first time using fava beans on my channel. Please subscribe so we can bring you more recipes. Thank you. King Charles III will be crowned on May 6th, and this is the celebratory recipe that the royal family has given out, and this is off of the royal family's website. I just converted it for US measurements as opposed to the UK measurements, and we're starting off with a ready-made crust, make things easier, and this is a 9-inch deep dish. And here are our fava beans. And in the UK, they call these broad beans, so not to get confused. On the royal website, it says broad beans, which in the United States is fava beans. And I went to Little Italy, so please check out our video, our walking tour of Little Italy. And we couldn't even find the fava beans. So my mom very nicely went to Uncle Giuseppe's in New Jersey and got me these fava beans. So I'm looking forward to showing you how to use them. We're gonna cook them, blanch them, and then take there's a bit of a white covering on the fava beans. We're gonna remove that, and then they'll be ready to use. I'm gonna use the Cabot Vermont sharp cheddar cheese, which is absolutely wonderful. I love it. Heavy cream, salt and pepper, and some spinach chopped up in our recipe. And tarragon, some beautiful fresh tarragon, which will give this an absolutely wonderful flavor. So let me get my mise en place ready, and I will show you how to make it. Before we can start making our filling, we need to blind bake our pastry crust. So I'm going to take a fork, and I'm doing what's called docking the dough. We're just pricking it with the fork, so that way when it bakes, you don't get these large bubbles. Once the bottom has been docked, we're going to line it with parchment paper, and I'm going to bake it in a 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. Now we need to blind bake our pie crust. So what I have here are yellow split peas. I use them over and over again whenever I'm blind baking something, so I just keep them in a container in the kitchen. You can use kidney beans or black beans, whatever you have on hand, and save them. This is a piece of parchment paper. I'm folding it in half. I'm going to fold it in half one more time. And then I'm going to fold it in half this way. And we're kind of making sort of like a little piece of paper to hold all of these. And what this will do is the weight of the lentils will hold down the pie crust, because we don't want the pie crust to bubble up. So we're going to put this on a baking sheet. I'm going to put it in the 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. And what this is called blind baking. Since I'm using frozen spinach, I have a 1-pound bag here. I'm going to let it defrost in a strainer because I want to get rid of any of the excess liquid. So once it defrosts, there's going to be a lot of water in it. I want to squeeze that out and let it all drain off. Here are our beautiful fava beans, or broad beans in the UK as they say. And what we want to do is we want to remove the bean from inside the pod. So you can run your paring knife along the edge to open it up, and inside, there you are, you find these. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook them in some boiling water and then blanch them by putting them directly into cold water. I don't need any ice water because I do want it to cook a bit since we're putting it in this quiche. So we're going to put it into the boiling water for about 2 minutes, and then we'll put it in the cold water. And what will end up happening in the cold water is that there is a white little casing around this bean, and then we will be able to remove it. Our water is boiling, and right next to it I have our bowl of cold water so we can stop the boiling process. And we're gonna dump in our fava beans and boil them for 2 minutes. So I'll set the timer. The timer went off, and we're gonna remove these and put this in the cold water. So our pie shell just came out, and I'm gonna leave the beans in there to help weigh it down. We don't want it to puff up, but you can see there's a very light golden brown color on the edge of our crust. 15 minutes at 350 degrees. And the reason we do this is because we want to make sure our crust is not soggy. When we bake the crust with all of the egg and milk in there, if we don't blind bake it, our crust will end up being very soggy. Once your fava beans have cooled off in the cold water, you're going to remove them, and there is a sort of a membrane on the outside of it. So just take the tip of your paring knife and be careful because you don't want to actually cut up the fava bean, but you need to remove this membrane here, and that takes a bit of time. Now we're going to make our filling. So we have our 2 eggs, and we're going to whisk that up and add in our 3/4 cup of heavy cream and 1/2 cup of whole milk. We're going to whisk that completely and add in our 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper and our 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Now we have all of our mise en place together and are ready to start assembling the quiche. So we're going to remove the lentils, or if you have kidney beans. Now don't throw those out. Save them so you can use them the next time you want to blind bake. And the first thing that's going to go in, we're going to sprinkle in our cheddar cheese at the bottom. And that's our 4 ounces of Vermont sharp cheddar cheese grated, which was 1.5 cups grated. And then we're going to add in some of our fava beans that we cooked for 2 minutes and took off the outer membrane. And that was 1/2 cup. And we're just going to sprinkle these around. And now we're going to sprinkle around our 1 3/4 cups of chopped cooked spinach. We want to make a nice layer of that. And then this is our 1 tablespoon of tarragon. And again, we want to sprinkle this. We're making sort of like a layer. And we'll add some of our egg and cream mixture. And then we're going to repeat. Now save some of the cheese to go on the top. So use about half of this. And again, sprinkle it around evenly and repeat. So now this time we're going to use up all of the broad beans, spread them out evenly over this layer. And now we're going to top it off with our spinach. And again, make a nice layer of that, using up all of it. And use up the rest of the tarragon, sprinkle it over. This is going to be so beautiful. King Charles is an organic farmer, actually. I'm not sure if everybody knows that, but he has an estate, the Ducci estate and the Ducci Originals, and has been growing vegetables and flowers and a big supporter of farm to table movement for many, many years, long before it was even popular. And one of my favorite things that they would make was a ginger biscuit, so I totally love that. And as you can see, something for his coronation is vegetable-based, beautiful spinach, tarragon, and the fava beans. And now we're going to finish by topping it off with the remaining cheddar. We're going to put this into a 325-degree oven and bake it until it is set in the middle and doesn't jiggle anymore. All right, this just came out of the oven. You see how it's really not jiggling anymore? It's pretty much set. So once you see it set like this and it's even puffed up a bit, that's when it comes out of the oven. You can see we have this golden brown crust and some golden brown cheese on the top. Now we're gonna have to let it cool and then we can slice it and taste it. Our quiche has cooled and you can see it's actually deflated. It was poofy before. I'm now gonna cut into it and serve it and taste. Wow, look at that beautiful slice of quiche. This is packed with spinach and fava beans. Let me give it a taste. Oh, that's absolutely delicious. What a wonderful way to celebrate King Charles's coronation with such a fantastic recipe, the Coronation Quiche with spinach, cheddar, and fava beans. I hope this inspires you to make it at home. Please check out all of our recipes on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye. Please click like and subscribe to Chef Victoria Loves YouTube channel and have fun in the kitchen. Thank you.